And you guessed it, I'm here to share with you my fabulous Friday recipe. Grab those cell phones, text your friends, let them know to come onto my page because they want to find out about tonight's recipe. Why? Because Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, and as we head into the Lenten season, we're going to be looking for some great recipes for fish on Friday evenings. So tonight's recipe is a healthy fish casserole. And just like all the recipes that I share with you, it's easy. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do to make this casserole is to caramelize onions. So I'm going to use one of my amazing 𝗀𝗸𝗵 non-stick skillets. So I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to put just a tiny bit of extra virgin olive oil. Not because I need it, but just because I want to put a little flavoring into my onions. So there we go, just about not even a full teaspoon. Next, we're going to take the sliced yellow onion and place into the casserole. And basically, it's only going to take a few minutes for these to caramelize. I love caramelized onions on just about everything. And they are going to be perfect, absolutely perfect for this casserole. Now, I'm going to let these sit for just a couple of minutes. And one of the things that you know about our 𝗀𝗸𝗵 is that you really don't have to use oil. But again, I did put a little extra virgin olive oil in because I wanted that little extra flavor. And I'm going to put my lid on because that's going to allow a little more moisture to build in the skillet, and it will soften and help me caramelize those onions. Now, while that's going on, I'm going to get my casserole ready. This is something brand new, and you are gonna love it. This is our new Marbella. See that beautiful embossing that we are known for with our Marbella line? This is our beautiful 9 by 13 Marbella baked dish. Now, it comes with an amazing lid, so that way you can store those leftovers. What I'm going to do is put just a little bit extra virgin olive oil in it, and I'm going to just coat all the sides and bottom of my casserole. You don't want to use a lot, just enough to coat it to prevent any type of sticking. Okay, now that I have that done, I will be ready to put my fish and layer it in the casserole. So, let me, of course, go over here though, because I want to check my onion. Want to make sure they're doing really well, and they are. They're caramelizing nicely. And I'm going to just make sure that I keep the temperature low, because once again, we do not want anything to overheat. So I'm going to make sure I have it on the desired temperature. Drop it down just one more. And now we're going to layer our fish. This is a white fish. It's actually cod. I love cod. And I'm just layering it in the casserole. And if you've never used cod for a casserole before, one of the things you'll notice is that it really flakes nicely once it's cooked, and it also really puffs up and just gets bigger as it cooks. I love eating cod. Now, we're going to sprinkle a little salt and pepper on. So I've got my salt and my pepper. Okay, we're just putting that on nicely. Okay, and then we're going to add, that was pepper. Now I'm going to add a little salt. And I've now got my fish all ready for the rest of the recipe. So I'm going to come back over. You can see that steam that's built nicely. My caramelized onions are almost there. You can tell when they're completely caramelized because they do turn brown or a light brown in color. They're almost there. They're very soft. And I'm going to add the seasoning to these as I wait for them to complete caramelizing. I'm going to add some thyme. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of nutmeg. This is going to be great, guys. Okay, I'm going to mix this up again. And I'm just going to give it another minute to caramelize. They're not quite there yet, but almost. So let me put my lid back on. And then we'll wait just a minute for those to caramelize. Now, the rest of the ingredients are going to be very simple. And while we're at it, I will talk to you a little bit about the new Marbella 9x13 bake dish. We have the 9x13 size, and then we also have the smaller 8x8 square baker as well. And these can go nicely into your oven. We do not suggest that you put it in the freezer, but what I love about the new Marbella bakeware is that it's so pretty when you're serving your table along with all of the amazing Marbella different types of dinnerware that we have. As you know, our basic is the off-white, and then we have added accent colors. So even if you've got one of our accent colors, this is going to look beautiful on your dining table or your buffet table. And you can't miss when you have a nice BPA-free plastic lid to place over your bakeware so that you can easily store leftovers. Now, let's look a little more over here and see how these onions are doing. All right, guys, I think I'm going to turn my onions off. They're nice and soft and caramelized, and you can really smell that thyme and that nutmeg smelling really good. All right, guys, so here we go. We're turning it off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my onion over, and I'm going to place these caramelized pieces of onion over my fish. Very easy, nice and simple. Okay, there we go. Put all of these in. And if you haven't noticed, I'm using one of my favorite culinary tools. These are our tongs, and because they have silicone on the tips, they're perfect for cooking in any of our non-stick cookware where you don't really want to have metal at all. Okay, let me move on to the next phase. We've got this all ready to go, and now the next thing we're going to do is create a breading that is going to be breadcrumb toppings, and we're going to use another one of my favorite kitchen tools. We're going to use the immersion blender, And as you know, our 4-in-1 immersion blender has several attachments. And tonight we are using, yes, we're using the food processor. Now be careful when you take this apart because they're very sharp blades and we have guards on these. Be sure to keep these guards in a safe place so you can always replace them back onto your blades for your safety. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take bread, and you want to use a coarse bread. You could use any type of coarse bread, and I am using a wheat bread. Nice coarse bread. Just breaking it into pieces because the food processor is going to do the rest for me. Just breaking it up. If you like sourdough, you could use sourdough bread. I like using wheat types of bread, so this is a nice one for me. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put this on, and as you know, with our wonderful 4-in-1 immersion blender that turns into several nice tools, you always want to make sure that you line up your motor so it locks, okay? So I've put this in, I've turned it to lock it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it out on a slower mode. You can put it from a slow mode to a higher mode simply by moving your dial. But I'm going to do this and I'm just going to pulse it a little bit. There we go. Okay, let me do it one more time. Okay, the breadcrumbs are looking mighty good. Let me do it a little bit more. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this off for a minute because we have to add a few more ingredients. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my next ingredient, which is a little paprika. Make sure we get that in there, and then I've got garlic powder. And we're also going to put 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil. So here we go. Let me measure that out for us. There's 1, 2. Okay. Now that we have our seasoning in, I'll put my lid back on and make sure I lock it in place. Put my motor back on, and I'm making sure I turn it to where I can lock my motor in place. There it goes. And now here we go again. That is it, guys. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these crumbs and we're actually going to put them over. Let me see if I can take this out before I do that. We're going to actually put these over the caramelized onions. There we go. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Okay. And I'm going to add some dry white wine. And then lastly, I have grated cheese, and this is grated Swiss cheese. So we're going to put some grated Swiss cheese on top. Get it out nicely here. And all we're going to do now is place this in a 400-degree oven for 18 to 24 minutes. until it's nice and cooked, or baked, I should say. And when I've finished baking it, I'm going to show you my bubbly, 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 delicious fish casserole. So I'll be back in just a little bit and show you my finished product. Hey guys, it's ready! I've taken it out of the oven and it looks amazing. Let me show it with you. Isn't that lovely? Take a look. And now I'm going to simply plate it. And I know that when you make this on one of those Friday evenings during Lent, your family is going to be so excited. So let me plate this just so you can take a look at the plated item. Oh, and it looks and smells so good. Take a look. Yum, yum, yum. Doesn't get any better than that. And listen, you know that every week when I do a Fabulous Friday recipe, I like to remind you that all the items that I used are in my Facebook shop. So you can go directly to my Facebook shop and decide what items you want to add to your kitchen so that you can make any of these amazing Fabulous Friday recipes. So check it out and then come back again 7 p.m. on Fridays for another Fabulous Friday. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Sign me up for the Princess House Express. Write my name on the road called to success. I've been changed since I joined Princess House. I want to be a part of this great team. Didn't David with Goliath? Did it take him to his knees? Didn't Daniel beat the lions without a hardly a wheeze? You know Jonah surely made it.